Silas praised when the doors were still locked. Their story did not begin in prison. It began with purpose. They were traveling, teaching, and helping people discover freedom. Every place that they went, lives were changing, and hope was spreading. People who felt lost were finding direction. But you know what? Purpose often attracts resistance. One day, after helping a young girl who had been trapped and exploited, the people who were making money from her suffering became furious. They didn't celebrate her freedom. They cared more about their profit than her life. So, they stirred up a crowd. Suddenly, the same streets where Paul and Silas had been helping people became a place of chaos. Accusations started flying. The crowd turned angry, and before long, Paul and Silas were dragged before the authorities. There was no real trial, no real defense, just punishment. They were beaten with rods, their backs torn open, their bodies exhausted, and then they were thrown into prison. Not just any cell, the inner prison. One of the darkest places, the most secure part of the prison. Their feet were locked in stocks so that they couldn't even move. Now imagine that moment. You've done nothing wrong. You are helping people, and you are walking in your purpose, what God called you to do. And now you're bleeding, chained, and sitting in the dark. Most people would complain. I know I would. Most people would question everything, asking God, why me? Lord, why did this happen? Lord, what did I do wrong? But around midnight, something unexpected happened. Paul and Silas started praying. They were not whispering complaints. They were not crying in defeat. They started praising. Right there in the prison, their bodies were hurting. Their situation, it was still the same. The chains were still on their feet, stocks still on their feet, but they praised anyway because their faith was not based on comfort. Their faith was based on conviction. They understood something powerful. Praise is not just a reaction to victory. Praise is an act of trust before the victory arose. So in the middle of pain, they lifted up their voices to God. The other prisoners were listening. Think about that. In a place filled with hopelessness, anger, and regret, two men began filling this darkness with praise. And then it happened. Suddenly, a violent earthquake shook the prison. Foundations of the building began to move. The doors of the prison flew open. Every single chain fell off. Freedom didn't just come for Paul and Silas. Every single prisoner was set free. That moment reveals something most people would miss. Your praise in hard times does not only affect you, it shakes the atmosphere that is around you. It inspires people who are watching you, and it breaks chains you didn't even know were connected to your faith. But the story gets even deeper. The prison guard woke up during that chaos. When he saw the doors open, he assumed the prisoners had escaped. At that time, a guard responsible for escaped prisoners would face severe punishment. Yes, death. Felt his life was over. But before he could make a tragic decision, Paul shouted into the darkness, "Don't harm yourself. We are all still here." Think about the power of that particular moment. These prisoners could have run. They could have escaped immediately, saying it is God who has freed us. But instead, they stayed long enough to save someone else. The guard rushed in trembling. Men, what must I do to be saved? That night, the prison guard and his entire household found God. The place that was supposed to silence Paul and Silas and their faith became the place where even more lives were changed and turned to God. Here's a lesson for you. Your prison may look different. Maybe it's a season of waiting. And maybe it's a setback that you didn't even expect. Maybe it is pressure or stress or a door that hasn't opened yet. It's easy to praise when life is good. But the real power shows up when you praise before the breakthrough. When you refuse to let your situation control your spirit. When you choose faith in the middle of uncertainty. Because sometimes the chains don't fall until the praise rises. And when your faith stays strong in dark places, people are watching. Your strength gives other people hope. Your persistence reminds other people that their story is not over yet. Just like that prison shook when Paul and Silas lifted their voices, your courage can shake the atmosphere around you. Doors can open, chains can break, lives can change, all because someone, you, chose to praise before the victory. So if you're in a difficult situation or season right now, remember this. Midnight is not the end of the story. Sometimes midnight is the moment the miracle begins. I want you to share this with someone who needs a reminder that their breakthrough might be closer than they think. Have a blessed day.